just for everyone watching, like Chantel is not like a machine. Anyone can almost like build herself into this, like even a musician, like, Chantel, maybe you could talk more about your background because you're like a musician, you're a writer. So it shows that
Yeah.
even a creative or someone with a creative personality or a mind that's like even with just art, with music and paint and stuff like that, they could still build up themselves to become a person just like you, right? Like, tell
Oh
us more about
yeah.
yourself. Like, yeah, definitely. Like tell us more about your background as a writer, musician, or yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, my background is a little all over the place. So actually, when I was younger, I've always been on the creative side, and there's like numerous articles too that show how a lot of musicians transition into being like a coder or a software developer. Some people say that's good, some people say that's bad, but I think the thing that you learn when you start coding is that coding is art, right?
Right.
People kind of look at it, oh, this is like the very technical way. It's very technical. Like I remember I went to school with some like marketing like majors, and they're like, oh, I can't do that because marketing, because what you're doing, I'm more of the creative side. I'm more of the creative person because they're in marketing, and I'm like, because creativity could come from anywhere. It's not only marketing. In fact, with marketing, I mean, there's so many marketing analytics jobs now. Like how many marketing jobs you see that you need to know SQL and all of this. But anyway, sidetracking. So going back to my experience, so yeah, when I was in elementary school, I started to learn how to play guitar, violin, because we had an orchestra in our school. And then I did like a few like concerts for this like kind of like School of Rock kind of thing that I did like in
Wow.
sixth grade or middle school. Yeah, so like a School of Rock where like in my music school they would like pair up the students, and then we like play a few songs, and then we come together and then we perform. So I did that for a couple of years, and again, continuing learning, violin at school. I started to pick up bass as well. So kind of just transitioning overall. That in high school, I was part of the jazz band. And jazz band, I did bass for 1 year. Then I did guitar for 2 years. I was still part of the orchestra all throughout 6th to 12th grade. I was assistant concert mistress, which in my last year, I would say. So that's pretty much second in command to like the concert mistress, who's like the head, I guess, of the orchestra.
Hmm.
So I did that. So yeah. Anyway, I was very involved with music in school. Right. I did like maybe a couple of coffee houses in college, as one in high school. But most of what I did with music was based in school and like private lessons. So yeah, that's my experience with music. So I've been playing guitar, bass, and violin for a while. I mean, I'll be honest, in college it got very busy, so I kind of put them to the side. So now I'm trying to go back and practice them. Regarding writing, I've always wanted to be part of a newspaper or write, because I always have loved writing. I just write like stories on my own when I was younger. And then I wanted to be part of the school newspaper in high school, but they're like, oh no, you have to like take journalism courses in order to be like journalism class in order to be part of school newspaper. I was like, yeah, but I want to be in orchestra. So I didn't end up really writing until I went into college. I joined the college newspaper, so I was like a staff writer, and then I transitioned to assistant opinion editor. So I helped write editorials. I interviewed students. It was mostly opinion pieces that I wrote of different topics. And then because of my love for music, I've always wanted to write for music too. So obviously it's very hard to get into that space unless you have experience with writing a lot, I guess. So what I did is that, thankfully, I want to say, what was it, 2017, that I found this website called gigsoup.com. It's a music magazine website based in the UK. And they mostly focus on like underrepresented artists, so like
Oh, pardon
non-mainstream
me.
artists.
Do you want to stay, have a break to get some water? It sounds like you're
I throw okay, yeah.
yeah. You want to take a quick break and we could
Yeah,
just
let's
cut this part out and yeah, sure, definitely. I need to get some water too. I'll be I'm trying out too as well.
yeah, so
Okay, sure. I'll be waiting here. Let me know when you feel ready. Hold for a second.
okay.
Cool, cool. All right.
So let me drink some water. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. And we're back. And just to I want to go and point out something to the people watching. You might be thinking like these sort of skills or sort of like opportunities that you've taken absolutely are mutually exclusive, in a programmatic way to put it, are mutually exclusive to an experience you have right now. But I argue that those sort of soft skills that you acquired are quite important. Like trying to be the best at being a writer or musician is being showing you'll be able to communicate what you're be able to communicate to a certain person and know what your target audience is. I would also say like that even just practicing with different like holy cow, you're like your whole orchestra with the instrument background you have. But having your mind be able to flexible to switch back and forth to certain different tools is something that you can also like have that sort of mindset when you're doing data science. Because like what you mentioned, sometimes what you work with might not be it might change occasionally, but it's just good to have that flexible mindset sometimes. Yeah, so I'm just gonna say like that's pretty cool. You have a cool background, and can you tell us? I'm sorry, I cut you off when you talk about the
I
UK
was
gig
already talking
stuff,
about
right?
gig soup. Yeah,
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 yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So to relate to what I was saying about gig soup. So, like I said, I've always wanted to write about music because I really like music. So then I saw this like job posting on Indeed, and Geek Soup, like I said, is a music website, music magazine based in the UK for underrepresented artists. So artists that are not like mainstream, they're like up and coming. So they kind of give them a chance. And the good thing is that they allow any writer to give any writer a chance. So I didn't need to have any experience. I mean, I sent them my resume thinking like, okay, I hope this is good. Like, oh no, we already signed you up. So I was like, oh, okay, good. So, I didn't get paid or anything, but it was a really good experience. It was my first time, getting connected with like PR companies, who would like send album reviews or albums, I'm sorry, for me to review. So I gave like different reviews and I wrote music news. Probably the most like exciting things as well, or exciting parts of writing for Gig Soup, or probably writing for music in general, is the opportunity to interview artists that you like.
right.
So I had been writing for a couple of years, and then I kind of stopped because I got my first job, and all these other things that happen as you're graduating college.
True,
But
but you don't
yeah.
mind you name drop a few big names that you did interview that
Oh
sounds
yeah.
like even though you said that they're underrepresented, sounds like they're really up and coming right away. And I don't know if
Oh no,
are there
some
any.
of them are if anyone is familiar with like Jacob Collier, Jacob Collier is very popular. David Crosby, Stills and Nash. So you probably I didn't interview them, but the artist that has worked with them is Becca Stevens. So Becca Stevens has been around for how many years, and a lot of people do know her. And honestly, I really loved her album, so I was like so starstruck when I had the opportunity to interview her. I was like, wow, this is like, really happening. And she was so nice. I loved interviewing her. She was actually my first like phone interview. So I definitely was like nervous, but I loved interviewing her. I had the opportunity to interview AK. So AK is a rapper based in South Brunswick. So he's the one that had that like famous what was it, in 2016, I think, that famous like Panda remix video that had like
Remix.
40 million views.
Holy
Um,
cow! Wow.
yeah, he became, it got really a lot of buzz because of the freestyle he did, right?
Right, right.
If you watch the video. So I had the opportunity to interview him, which was really, really exciting because he's such a good artist, such a good rapper, so nice. And then recently I had an interview with Skandra. So Skandra, she's new, but she kind of hit it big now because of this video that came with her husband on TikTok. He kind of like told people to like listen to her new song and her new music video, and that gained like a lot of attention. I think that TikTok video had like 18 million views, and now that song Rivers that she has recently has like 1 million streams. So yeah, it was a good experience.